It's Parm King, and I thought I'd carve out a few moments this morning to address the Open Gaming License. I've been receiving quite a few questions about my thoughts on the Open Gaming License in OneD&D and how it will or will not impact the content that I am providing. Now, there are a plethora of videos and articles and Reddit threads on the Open Gaming License and OneD&D, and I am not about to toss my hat into that ring with my own speculative masturbation narrative of what should or should not or what will or will not happen. Instead, I'm going to focus on two important facts related to the current OGL and also discuss two of the known unknowns of the new OGL or potential new OGL in OneD&D and how it's related to me and the content that I am putting forward. If you are interested in the history of the OGL, how it's affected Wizards of the Coast and content providers, there are two excellent articles by Justin Alexander. I highly recommend them. I put links to them in the description down below. Now let's discuss two important facts. The first fact, which I see seldom discussed in YouTube videos and in articles, is that the OGL, the Open Gaming License, does not exist in a vacuum. It is linked to the System Reference Document, also commonly referred to as the SRD. That is the free rules to Dungeons & Dragons. I'll put a link to that in the description below. Why is this important? If you are a content provider like myself and you are going to reference or use any of the content in the free rules, the SRD, you must use or include the Open Gaming License in whatever content you provide, whether it's for free or whether it's on DMS Guild or Drive-Thru RPG or you're offering it yourselves on Amazon or selling it on your website. You must include the OGL if you are referencing or including any of the content in the free rules, also known as the SRD. Now, if you're not going to use any of those free rules in the SRD or reference to those, you don't need to use the OGL. It's really that simple. The second important fact is that the OGL version 1.0a, which references the free rules, cannot be revoked, rescinded, deleted, changed, or edited by Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, or anyone. It exists forever. And anybody that wishes to produce content for the 5th edition, 3.5, early editions like AD&D or whatever, can use that Open Gaming License and refer to those free rules. There's nothing that Wizards of the Coast or anybody can do about it. So those are two important facts that we need to remember. Now, the two known unknowns are this. We do know that Wizards of the Coast are working on a new versions of Dungeons & Dragons. OneD&D is like they like to call it, or 6th edition is like I like to call it. We know this because they not only have announced it, but they've released a few of these playtest documents that will include, which may include, the rules to OneD&D to get some feedback from the community and the fans. But what we don't know, the unknown, is what those final rules will look like. We won't know that until they release that, and they are predicting their ETA is roughly sometime in 2024. The other known unknown is the new OGL 1.1, which will be connected to the new free rules for the OneD&D. We do not know what's in that OGL or what will be in that OGL at all. So those are two known unknowns. Now, there is some speculation that Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro's attorneys might slip in a poison pill into that OGL 1.1. And what does that mean? It means that if you agree to use the new OGL 1.1 in your company or you as an individual content provider, you also agree by using that new OGL that you will not go back and use the old OGL 1.0a for the 5th edition or earlier editions. Now, whether they include that or not is all speculations, but I wouldn't be surprised as Hasbro attorneys do shoehorn something like that into the new OGL. Remember, they can't rescind, reject, change, delete the current OGL. So slipping in some kind of poison pill may or may not make sense. However, what is important for us to remember is that when and if that new OGL comes out, regardless of what content's out there in that OGL, the existing OGL will always exist. So anybody, even after the new OGL comes out, even after 1D&D is released, if people want to use the current OGL 1.0A for 5th edition, 3.5, AD&D, or whatever, they can continue to use it, and there's nothing that Wizards of the Coast can do. So that's the known unknowns and the two facts that we do know. Now, how does that impact me? It actually doesn't at all. I am wrapping up Legends of Barovia, a 1.5 year long project. It's a supplement and free PDF guides. I'm producing that under the fan content policy, and I must include the current OGL because I reference rules and in the current free guide. And that content I'm also producing for free in video guides as well as PDF guides. I'm wrapping that up. I've also announced in 2023, I'm starting Legends of Saltmarsh, which is including expanded content and supplements for Ghost of the Saltmarsh. And again, that'll be released under the fan content policy using the current OGL 1.0A and reference to stuff that's in the 5th edition SRD. So 1D&D has nothing to do with me, and neither does the new OGL 1.1. Now, when I finish the Legends of Saltmarsh, which will probably be in early 2024, we will have some more information about what will or will not be in that OGL 1.1 and what those rules for D&D 1 will look like. I mean, they might not be finished, but we'll have a better understanding at that point. And at that point, I will make a decision whether I want to make more content for 5th edition, or depending on what's in that OGL and what's in D&D 1 or 1D&D or whatever they call it, 6th edition, whether I want to produce content for that. Or perhaps I produce content for another role-playing game or design my own. Who knows? Right now, my focus is on finishing up Legends of Barovia and working on Legends of Saltmarsh, producing that content for the community and for those donating members that are helping me in this epic project. Well, I hope that answers the questions for you guys. Again, I highly recommend those 2 articles by Justin Alexander if you're interested, and also the SRD, the free rules, you're interested in the OGL, or you're interested in the fan content policy. I've put links to those in the description down below. Until next time, may all your roles be critically successful.